Chapter 21. Through bursts of static, Kestrel's voice reported direct hits on 3 targets. The concentrated melta fire melted right through their corrupted plate. Only their leader remains, but he's... Emperor, protect us. He's still advancing through the molten remains of his own men. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed through the Vox, accompanied by the whine of power fields engaging. All brothers, focus fire, Theron commanded. Brother Malik, get that multi-melta. Static, watch out. He's got some kind of modified Guardian Spear. A tremendous crash came through the channel, followed by the sounds of close combat. He's breached the line, Kestrel shouted. Brother Voss is down. The corrupted symbols on his armor, they're pulsing with some kind of energy. Standard weapons aren't penetrating. For Vulcan, multiple voices joined in the Vox channel as the Terminators engaged their final opponent in close combat. The clash of power weapons and the crackle of disruption fields filled the transmission. Got him pinned in the crossfire, Theron reported between bursts of weapons fire. But our weapons still aren't... Wait. Brother Malik, target the symbols. Focus melta fire on those corrupted runes. The Vox erupted with cries of anguish as Kestrel's voice cut through. Brothers Marius and Thorn are down. That cursed spear went straight through their armor like it was ceramite butter. Look out, came the warning cry from an Imperial guardsman among their auxiliary forces. The distinctive whoosh of a rocket launcher firing carried over the Vox, followed by a tremendous explosion. Theron's voice cut in urgently. Direct hit from the guardsman. Center mass. He staggered, but still standing. Emperor's mercy. What does it take to... Hold your positions, Kestrel commanded through the Vox. He's damaged, though. That blast cracked his armor plating. I can see corruption seeping out like blood, but it's black, unnatural. Brother Malik, do you have a clear shot with the melta? The sound of power armor shifting and weapons being readied crackled through the transmission, punctuated by the corrupted custode's laughter, now wet and gurgling through damaged Vox grills. Is that all the sons of the Forge Father can muster? The distorted voice taunted. Your skulls will make fine. On the bridge of the Emperor's wrath, Zavis sat rigid in his command throne, every muscle tense as he waited for updates from the boarding teams. The sounds of combat still crackled through the Vox, but the situation remained unclear. Corporal Duran, he called, his voice cutting through the bridge's tense atmosphere. Go to the armamentarium. Tell Brother Techmarine Voss to prepare the teleportation arrays. If our brothers need emergency extraction, I want it ready. Meanwhile, the Vox channel erupted with renewed combat. Brother Malik, fire on my mark. Kestrel's voice was strained. The rest of you, keep him off balance. That guardsman's rocket cracked his defenses. Now we just need... The transmission dissolved into the sounds of intense fighting, leaving Zavis gripping the arms of his command throne, waiting for word of victory, or the need for that emergency teleport extraction. The Vox channel erupted with screams as Kestrel's voice cut through. Static. Brothers Severus and Tiberius are down. His spear. Emperor's mercy. He moved faster than anything that corrupted should. The transmission filled with the roar of a chainsword engaging at full power. The Marine wielding it charged, driving his weapon into the corrupted custode's armor. Then, using his free hand, he grabbed his own chainsword's housing and forced it deeper into the enemy's chest, black corrupted gore spraying across the corridor. The Vox feed carried the wet, gurgling sound of the corrupted custode's final laugh, drowned out by the relentless grinding of the chainsword as their brother continued to force it through their enemy's torso, tainted gore splattering across his Terminator plate. Target down, Kestrel reported, his voice heavy. Confirmed killed. Engine room entrance is secured. Counting 7 brothers lost in total, requesting Apothecary Thaddeus begin gene seed recovery while we press forward. The Vox channel suddenly switched frequencies as Theron's urgent voice cut through from the bridge assault. "Captain Zavis, enemy vessels are attempting to box us in. Their gunners have adapted to our control of their ship's weapons. They're using some kind of coordinated fire pattern, too." The transmission was interrupted by the sound of impacts rocking through the ship. "Multiple hull breaches on decks 3 through 5, a bridge officer reported to Zavus. "Void shields holding at 30%, but they won't sustain another concentrated barrage." "Sir," Theron continued through bursts of static, "we're losing control of their weapon systems. Some kind of override is being implemented from an auxiliary command center. We can't maintain suppressing fire much longer." The Emperor's wrath shuddered as another salvo struck home, the sound of groaning metal carrying through the Vox transmission. Through the sensor returns on the Emperor's Wrath's bridge, Zavis watched the enemy vessels maneuvering into a killing formation. In the distance, the Cobra-class destroyer was exchanging fire with the World Eater's ships, but it couldn't hold them off forever. Every command option before him carried devastating risks. He couldn't risk losing either the Emperor's Wrath or the Cobra-class destroyer by calling in the Charging Bull and potentially bringing more enemy ships down on them. "Incoming fire," the Censor's officer shouted. "Multiple torpedo signatures." "Helm, evasive pattern Theta," Zavis commanded, keeping his voice steady despite the gravity of their situation. "Engineering, divert remaining auxiliary power to starboard void shields." Theron's voice crackled through the Vox. "We are losing weapons control completely, sir. Enemy systems are being locked down deck by deck. We can't maintain." Another impact rocked the ship, cutting off the transmission. "Sir," his first officer reported, "we have multiple fires in the forward sections. Damage control teams are responding, but our position is becoming untenable." "Another corrupted section, Captain," Kestrel reported. "The warp taint has spread through the entire port side. Even the bulkheads are pulsing." "Confirmed," Theron's voice joined in. "We've found more evidence of corruption in the command sectors. Tech adepts are attempting data recovery, but most systems are beyond salvation." Several hours later, Sergeant Kestrel's voice returned. "Captain Zavis, sweep is complete. The ship is beyond redemption. Corruption has saturated the superstructure itself. However, we've recovered several data slates from a sealed compartment. The text, it's unlike anything I've seen. Not High Gothic, not any known Xenos script either. Brother Chaplain will need to examine these. The recovered slates are giving off strange energy readings," Theron added. "We're using null field containers for transport. Request permission to begin withdrawal of all strike teams. This vessel needs to be purged." Through the Vox, the solemn work of the aftermath could be heard. Apothecary Thaddeus reporting. "Brother Severus's gene seed recovered. The Emperor knows his name. His sacrifice shall be remembered." The apothecary's ritualistic words carried across the channel, followed by the sound of his reductor performing its sacred duty. "Brother Tiberius," Thaddeus continued, moving to the next fallen warrior. "Your service ends, but your legacy shall live on in those who follow. Av Imperator." Kestrel's voice cut through. "Captain, Brother Captain Broadwell is stabilized. The apothecaries say he'll recover, though he'll bear new scars. We're moving him and the other wounded to the extraction point now." The sound of armored footsteps echoed through the Vox as teams of Terminators carried their injured brothers. The ritual prayers of the apothecaries continued in the background, a constant reminder of both the cost and the duty of their calling. Brother Marius's gene seed recovered. In death, he serves still. The Vox crackled with coordinated movements of the final evacuation. "Demolition charges set, sir," came the professional report from the Imperial Guard specialists. "Placed at critical structural points as requested. Timer systems synchronized. Static. All teams clear of the target zones, Kestrel transmitted. Ready to disengage, Captain. Metal screamed and twisted as Swift Vengeance's engines fired, beginning the delicate process of separating from the corrupted vessel where they had jammed together during the earlier engagement. The reversal of thrust caused sections of the enemy ship to tear away, raining debris and sparks into the void. Multiple hull breaches detected, the bridge officer reported. Enemy vessel structure giving way, cascading damage along decks 4 through 7, power conduits rupturing across separation points. Boarding tubes disengaging, Theron added. The Swift Vengeance is pulling free, but that structural damage is spreading along their hull plates, Emperor's Wrath standing by to provide covering fire if needed. All moorings detached, Theron transmitted. Structural integrity at 60% on the separation point. Hull plates tearing loose, but drive systems are responding. The sound of rending metal echoed through the channel as Swift Vengeance's engines pushed harder, finally breaking free from the corrupted vessel in a shower of sparks and twisted debris. Clean break achieved, Kestrel reported. Swift Vengeance is clear. The Emperor's Wrath has us covered from Sector 7. Detonation sequence initiated, came the precise voice of the guard demolitions expert. Charges are live. Reactor containment protocols disabled. 15 minutes to critical mass. Both Imperial vessels began putting distance between themselves and the doomed ship. Through the Vox came the countdown markers, punctuated by the sound of secondary explosions already starting to chain through the corrupted vessel's superstructure. 5 minutes to critical overload, Theron transmitted. Energy readings from the reactor are spiking. The corruption seems to be reacting to the power surge. The hull is rippling. Chapter 22. Through the Vox, reports came in as Swift Vengeance pulled away from the corrupted vessel, its hull bearing the scars of intense combat and the violent separation. 1 minute to critical overload, Theron transmitted. Swift Vengeance maintaining withdrawal vector. Drive systems operating at reduced capacity, but holding steady. Behind them, the corrupted ship's hull had begun to glow with an unnatural light, the reactor overload interacting with the warp taint that had saturated its structure. Secondary explosions continued to chain through its decks, each one larger than the last. 30 seconds, came the countdown. Energy readings are off the scales. The corruption it's accelerating the reactor decay. Swift Vengeance continued its labored retreat, plasma venting from damaged engine ports, debris trailing in its wake. The distance wasn't ideal, but it was the best they could manage with their damaged systems. 10 seconds. 5. Mark. The corrupted vessel's death wasn't the conventional explosion of a reactor overload. Instead, the hull seemed to implode, collapsing in on itself as reality buckled around it. A heartbeat later, the compressed mass erupted in a blast that combined both physical and warp energies, sending a shockwave rippling through the void. Brace for impact, Theron warned as the wave approached Swift Vengeance's already stressed hull. The shockwave rolled across the void like a tsunami of corrupted energy, catching up to Swift Vengeance's stern. All hands, brace for impact, Theron's voice carried through the Vox. The ship's structure groaned as the wave hit, but the vessel's machine spirit proved resilient. Warning klaxons blared through the Vox feed as systems registered the stress, but held. Hull integrity holding at 40%, came the report. Drive systems still functioning. We're bloodied, Captain, but Swift Vengeance will carry us home. From his position on the Emperor's Wrath, Zavis watched through the asteroid field's cover as Swift Vengeance emerged from the explosion's aftermath. Her hull was scarred, plates buckled and torn in places, but her proud silhouette remained unbroken. Plasma still vented from damaged sections, and debris trailed in her wake, but her running lights burned steady in the void. Strike teams secured, Kestrel reported. Brother Captain Broadwell is stable in the Apothecarian. The recovered data slates remain contained, estimating 3 hours at current speed to rejoin the fleet. Through the Vox, updates continued as Swift Vengeance made her wounded but determined progress back to the fleet. Damage control teams have sealed the worst hull breaches, Theron reported. Tech priests are performing battlefield rites on the most critical systems. The machine spirit remains strong despite our wounds. From the bridge of the Emperor's Wrath, Zavis monitored their progress. His ship emerged from the asteroid field to escort their wounded sister vessel home. The Cobra-class destroyer moved to provide additional screening. 15 minutes to fleet contact, came the navigation officer's report through the Vox. Multiple friendly signatures detected. The Charging Bull has moved to the outer defense perimeter to cover our approach. Brother Captain, Kestrel transmitted, Apothecary Thaddeus reports all gene seed has been properly stored in stasis. Brother Captain Broadwell's condition continues to improve. He's regained consciousness and is already demanding to return to duty. Fleet Command requesting preliminary report, the communications officer added. They're particularly interested in the strange energy readings from those data slates and the unexplained disappearance of the enemy fleet. The Vox channels buzzed with increased activity as the small squadron approached the fleet's position. Swift Vengeance on final approach, the call came over the Vox. Request priority docking clearance. Multiple wounded require immediate transfer to medical facilities. Through the bridge windows of the Emperor's Wrath, Zavis could now see the imposing silhouette of the Charging Bull growing larger. The Chapter Master's flagship had positioned itself at the forefront of the fleet, its massive weapons arrays tracking their approach. Standard protocol when receiving vessels returning from engagement with Chaos forces. Chaplain Darius requesting immediate secure transfer of the recovered data slates, came a new voice over the command channel. The Charging Bull's Reclusium has been prepared with additional wards. Multiple escort vessels moving to screening positions, reported the Fleet Coordination Officer. Augur arrays are detecting residual energy signatures from Swift Vengeance's hull. Standard quarantine protocols are being initiated. Brother Captain, Kestrel transmitted from within Swift Vengeance. Chapter Master Volix himself is awaiting our report. The disappearance of an entire enemy fleet. He'll want answers. The next several days fell into a rhythm of focused activity across the fleet. Through various Vox channels came the constant updates of repair work. Tech priests have completed initial damage assessment of Swift Vengeance's drive systems, reported the Master of the Forge. Primary plasma conduits require full replacement, estimated 3 days with all available servitor teams. Teams of chapter serfs and tech priests worked in shifts, their prayers and incense mixing with the sounds of welding and hull plate replacement. The damaged vessel's machine spirit was honored with continuous ritual as new components were installed and blessed. Hull integrity restored to 70%, came the daily progress report. Brothers from all companies volunteering additional shifts in the repair bays. The spirit of Vulcan lives in their dedication. In the Medicae Bay, Brother Captain Broadwell had begun his own recovery, though the apothecaries had to threaten to sedate him twice when he attempted to leave early to assist with repairs. Meanwhile, in the Charging Bull's Reclusium, Chaplain Darius and his acolytes maintained their vigil over the recovered data slates, their contents still a mystery that would require careful study. Through the Vox came the solemn reports of the Fallen's final rites. Preparing the Feast Hall of Heroes, transmitted the Master of Rites. Our fallen brothers will lie in state for 3 days, as tradition demands. Their names will be added to the chapter's rolls of honor. In the Apothecarian, the wounded were making steady progress. Brother Captain Broadwell had finally accepted the need for proper rest, though he insisted on receiving daily repair updates from his bed. Brothers Malik and Voss were expected to return to duty within the week, their enhanced healing aided by the skilled work of the apothecaries. Gene seed of the Fallen has been properly sanctified, reported Apothecary Thaddeus. All 17 samples are secure in the chapter's vaults. Their legacy will live on in future brothers. Each evening, the off-duty crew members would gather in the chapel of the Promethean Flame to honor the dead. Brothers who had fought alongside the Fallen shared tales of their valor, ensuring their deeds would be remembered. Brother Severus died holding the line. Sergeant Kestrel's voice was heard during one such gathering. Brother Tiberius fell, ensuring his squad could advance. Their sacrifices will not be forgotten. The memorial services continued with solemn gravity throughout the fleet. Each fallen brother's armor was carefully restored by the chapter's artificers, their damage marks preserved as badges of honor, before being placed alongside their bodies in the Feast Hall of Heroes. Honor Guard rotation changing, came the regular reports. Fourth Watch beginning their vigil over our fallen brothers. The artificers voxed updates as they prepared each set of armor. Final rites of restoration complete on Brother Severus's plate. The damage marks have been preserved, the machine spirit honored. Ready for placement in the Feast Hall. In the Apothecarian, progress reports continued over the command channel. Brother Hadrian is conscious and stable. His first concern was for the mission's success. Brother Thaddeus has begun physical reconstruction protocols, though we've had to remind him 3 times that his enhanced healing still requires proper rest periods. From Swift Vengeance's repair bays came regular updates. Port side hull reconstruction proceeding on schedule. The chapter's serfs have shown exceptional dedication, many volunteering for double shifts to speed the repairs. Our fallen will be remembered. Chapter Master Vollix's voice carried across the fleet-wide Vox during the evening memorial. Their gene seed will strengthen future generations. Their names will be sung in our halls, and their deeds recorded in the chapter's chronicles. In death, as in life, they serve. The fleet-wide Vox carried reports of the final repairs and preparations. Hull integrity at 95%. Came the update from Swift Vengeance's Master of the Forge. Final plasma conduit replacements are underway, machine spirit responding well to the new components. From the Apothecarian, Brother Captain Broadwell has been cleared for light duties. The remaining wounded are showing remarkable recovery rates. Brother Hadrian's augmetic replacements have taken well. He'll begin combat recertification within the week. The Honor Guard reported the conclusion of the mourning period. Final rites complete. The Fallen have been committed to the chapter's sacred vaults. Their armor stands ready in the Hall of Heroes, their names etched in adamantium on the rolls of honor. Through the command channel, Chapter Master Vollix's voice carried authority. Once repairs are complete, we must address what was found on that vessel. Those data slates. Chaplain Darius reports unusual findings. We will need to convene the chapter's senior officers.